for tuning in. A live stream new episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show will be starting soon with your host, minister, and author Stephanie M. Seaton. If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.
Well, hello, and welcome to another special episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. I'm so glad that you are tuning in with us tonight. Tonight, I have got a first-time guest in the house. Let's welcome Winnie Starks. Welcome.
Hey everyone. Hey. Good to be here. Finally able to connect. I'm super excited about this.
Yes, ma'am. Very good to have you in the studio tonight. So tonight we are going to be talking about all things Winnie Starks. She said that is a loaded thing. There's a lot of things. She said she's got a lot of things going on. So listen, go ahead and grab your popcorn, like, tag, share, subscribe. Make sure to go ahead and share this interview. So we've got a lot of things to talk about tonight. We're going to go ahead and get it kicked off. The very first question that I ask all of my guests is, please tell us, Miss Winnie, who is Winnie Starks?
Well, Winnie Starks is the authoress. Um, my first book was released 5 years ago. We almost at the anniversary, which is December of 2020 when I originally released Unbroken Destiny.
Okay.
Which is a memoir of my life stories and some of the challenges I had and how I overcame. Um, that is that is my baby because that was a door opener for me. I have always encouraged, I have always spoke life into people. I've always been that person, but to put it on paper and have it go across the world was totally different for me. So that is who I am. I'm Winnie Starks. I'm an author, I'm a mother, I do speaking engagements. I'm an encourager, but that's my baby. The main thing is Unbroken Destinies, which is my book.
I'm going to put a picture of your book up on the screen. So this is the book that she is speaking of, Unbroken Destiny. I'm also going to give you a link to this book. She has it in all three formats: ebook, paperback, and hard copy. So no matter what time you happen to watch the interview, you'll be able to click on that link and go and support Miss Winnie Starks. We've got Miss Di Jones in the house tonight. She said, "What is next?"
Hey, Di. So, what is yet to come? I'm working on a couple of different things within this next new year. Definitely my second book is going to be released.
Okay.
Be looking out for that. I do have an annual book tour that we're working on, so be looking out for that.
Okay.
Um, I'm open this year to more speaking engagements, and especially in the school districts. I like to go into the high schools. I did my first high school. Yes, number one, seller die. Definitely did. Speak it all the way into existence. Because that's what it will be. But I did my first classroom speaking engagement about 2 weeks ago at my old high school. After 21 years of not stepping foot in that school, I did
Wow.
my first speaking engagement with the 11th grade communications professionalism class, and it was a very great experience. I was able to relate so much
Hmm.
because I wasn't always put together, so to say. I
Right.
was one of the trouble teens, so I was able to relate to them and give them some nuggets on, the negative things that I was able to overcome for having a mindset like that younger. So
Yeah.
that's one of my passions. I love the experience. I love the um I love the feedback I got from the students. They were all at the end. They were like, "Will you come back and see us? Will you come back and talk to us?" And
Yeah.
kids to tell you the truth. It be these adults that are playing in your face, but kids tell you the truth. They'll be looking at you like, "Girl, don't come back around here telling us no foolery." Or, like they gave me the response of that. Yes, they were like, come back and see us. So I would love to do more engagements.
The good thing about that is, kids are looking for somebody that's going to be relatable. And
Yes.
you definitely, had the testimony to be able to tell them, probably read most of their minds because you've been there, done that, right? And so,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
them,
It was
oh,
so
yeah,
it was so funny because the teacher was like, she was like, it was like you knew the crew. You knew the group. She was like,
yeah,
you went and she was like, you were directly speaking to the group that I have to engage with most. So I said, because I know that. I know the sass, I know the look, I know the funny accolades of being class clown. I know all the above. So
yeah,
it was I was able to relate with them so much, and it was a blessing to me, not only because being female you're able to relate to the females, but I was able to relate to the males in the class.
mhm,
I grew up with nothing but boys, so for me, being the only girl around five plus boys all the time,
yeah,
that it
yeah,
comes easier for me. Yeah,
yeah.
it makes it easier for me to relate to the boys versus the girls, so to say. I'm just coming into my girly era. I'm not gonna even tell a story.
Yeah. Hey, we are who we are, right? We are who we
Yes.
are. Your life circumstances shape you into becoming the person that you end up becoming. Let me kind of read a little bit. This is a quote that I got from some of your social media. I kind of dig into my guests' Facebook pages and kind of get into y'all's business before y'all come onto the show.
And I
And
love that because
yeah,
I put the business out there.
well, it's good to kind of know a little bit more than what you guys tell me, so that I can kind of always have a little bit extra. So, this is a quote from Miss Winnie Starks, and it says, "From the very beginning, I faced challenges as the youngest of three children in a dysfunctional family. I was born into with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and I have had." The ability to hear some of your story. So we're going to go into that here in just a moment. But umbilical cord wrapped around your neck, endured molestation and numerous other trials that could have hindered anyone's development. Yet, those experiences have strengthened you and shaped you into the motivational speaker that you are today. And your faith has been a guiding force, allowing you to travel globally, sharing your
Yes.
story and inspiring others to rise above circumstances with the enduring message, never a victim, always an overcomer. I love that.
Yes.
Very inspirational, quote to see on your page. And I was just like, wow, because so many times things happen to us and we let that like be our excuse
Mm-hmm.
as to why we can't do something, right? But when you get with those things that happen and flip them around, you flip them around on the enemy, right? And you decide, you know what, this is going to be my motivation for why I can and why I can overcome. That is amazing. And then you reach back. You're now reaching back. You're talking to teens and adults about what you've been through, and that is just amazing. So I really love that quote a lot from your page. Let's kind of dig into that a little bit. We're going to start talking about unbroken destiny. And in this book, you have 10 practical challenges to help people live a destiny driven life. I really love the fact that not only do you tell your story, but application. You're
Yep.
giving people practical things that they can actually use themselves to help change their destiny as well. And Winnie, the platform here is healing, empowerment, and transformation.
Yes, yes,
I,
yes.
you
What
know,
I'm all about. What
yeah,
I'm all about. because that is what shaped my life, is
Yeah.
the healing. Most people, they try to bury those things,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it's something very traumatic has
Mm.
happened.
Yeah.
For me from the very beginning, like I say, being born with the umbilical cord choking you before
Yeah.
you could even, even take your first breath in the world, that was already a traumatic moment.
Yeah.
Then they cut off all my hair. I had a head full of hair. They cut off all my hair because they thought they was going to have to do surgery on me.
Mm-hmm.
Then nobody but God. They
Yeah.
didn't have to, but yet another traumatic experience for myself, not unaware, but for my mom. Like, I
Right.
could only imagine that happening to one of my children giving birth, and then you have to go through a experience of maybe she's gonna make it and maybe she's not.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
and then we have me growing up. My family is from the country, so we're from, my mom them originally Arkansas,
Okay.
and my dad Louisiana. So I was born in Louisiana. I spent most of my life in Texas. I grew up in Texas because my mom left when I was one.
Okay.
However, still having that type of background, growing up, so it's different. Southern living and city living is totally different. It's slow paced, but they do their own thing, do whatever they want to do. So it's a lot of things that happen in um small towns that
Mm-hmm.
don't happen in the city, because it's it it's everybody that know everybody. It's not a wide variety of law enforcement or anything like that in those type of towns. So my
Right.
mom my mom was in a relationship with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
That was her first love. They loved each other dearly, but all in the same thing, a lot of trauma. He
Yeah.
was abusive, did a lot of things. So how I wound up being born with the umbilical cord choking me is she jumped out the truck. He
Mm-hmm.
told her he was taking her in the woods and was gonna kill her. And she
Okay.
jumped out the truck while he was driving. While about, I think she was almost 9 months with me, right? Coming
Wow.
up on that.
Yeah.
So that played the factor in all of that.
Yeah.
But yet and still, life still was okay. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say that I ain't have a decent life, but had a lot of hiccups in it. I grew up, like I said, in a house full of boys.
Yeah.
I was around boys most of my till I was about 13. That's when my girl cousins moved down. But I was touched by a couple of my family members, family
Mm.
friends, which opened a door for me very early. This My first memory is I was 4 years old
Mm.
when all of that started. So you have someone who, for me, I believe when the umbilical cord was choking me, it cut off some of my oxygen. So I didn't learn like everybody else or
Right.
whatever. So it made me a little bit slower.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Now I know it was God giving me the slow down so I could pay attention and incorporate my gifts.
Right.
Um, but however, when you're growing up, you don't know that.
Right. Right.
So I was a little bit slower learning than everybody else. Not really savvy and aware of certain things, but on the inside, when something is wrong
Right.
and you
Right.
feel it. You just have that feeling. But I did go through those things or whatever, and it was traumatizing because I have a heart of love, and then I have a mother who's telling me if anybody ever do anything to you, I'm gonna kill them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so with that thought, it's like, okay, not only am I lose you, but I'm also putting people that I love in
At
a
risk.
position, yeah, in a position. So it made me be quiet
Mm.
about those certain things or whatever. However, it also built the anger in me too.
Okay.
Um because I couldn't express myself the way I wanted to. When I would say certain things, everybody just thought, "Oh, she's the baby. She's spoiled. She don't want to do this." Not understanding, like, no, certain stuff is happening. And I just can't express myself.
Right.
So that was very traumatic growing up. And then I had a best friend at the time, and things were happening to both of us. And
Mhm.
I wound up saying something to one of our other friends, and oh my gosh, she just made it seem like I was just lying, making up stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
And that closed my mouth too, because I'm like, well, if my best friend, this is
Didn't
my,
believe. Yeah.
yeah, if my best friend is telling people like I'm lying, and she knows, I'm just not gonna ever say anything else about it. And my mom didn't find out about that part of my life until I did my first conference in 2018. And that's when I was telling, women, don't ever tell your kids that you will kill or you will be away. If something was happening to them, make them have a safe space to
But
be able to come and
yeah,
express you, because you say things like that. That's what kept my mouth closed
I get it.
or whatever. And not tell
Not
you what was actually going on in the house, which that caused issues all by itself with me and my mom's relationship. When I was younger, I gave her a hard time because in my heart of hearts, I felt like you should know.
stop right there. Stop right there. Okay. Okay. You've said a lot that we got to unpack. Okay.
Hmm.
So you were dealing with your own situation in what you were going through.
Hmm. At
And
such a young
still,
age, before you
yeah,
even,
such a
yeah,
young age, not being able
to
to
even know how to process.
yeah, not being able to fully process it. But yet, because of the conversation of what your mom had told you, you were even at that time trying to protect the abusers
Hmm.
because you were led to believe there will be consequences for them.
Hmm.
So you were not taking into consideration what was even happening to you, considering
Correct.
yourself.
Correct.
And wow. And I'm saying wow because I mean I've been on that side of the fence,
Hmm.
sadly to say. Um,
It has happened to a lot of us, and
yeah.
that's what makes me speak about it, is because some people look at it as shameful. Some people are still hurt by it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, if I let my light shine and show that these things have happened to me too, um, but I don't let it hold weight over me. It's nothing that I could do about that. It's nothing that I I asked for,
No,
I
you weren't
didn't
at
ask for
fault.
that.
No.
It wasn't my fault, and then I realized the older that I got, kids are inquisitive.
Yeah.
Kids are, because at the time we're kids, all of us at the time, these are all kids. These are not adults that are doing this. We are all children, and just at different age range. They're older than me,
Right.
but you gotta realize you're inquisitive. When somebody don't teach you certain things, you go looking. And if just say somebody doing something to you, you pretty much are doing the same thing. So I had to look at it in all different forms of ways. And I have never been a person that wanted to have like a pity party about stuff. Like it,
Right.
it didn't kill me. That's my mindset. Like, it didn't kill me. It didn't break me the way that the enemy meant it to do.
Right.
uh so I thank God, and I thank God that my mom did introduce us to God, and having the Holy Spirit within you. Um it it helped me out a whole lot. Like, when I thought I was slow, like I said, like learning disability kind of because of things, I now I understood he slowed me down to be able to pay attention. So I have great discernment. I
Yeah.
have very great discernment. I know how to read people
Yeah.
quicker than most because that was the way I learned. That was the way he allowed me to learn. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't one of those kids that were savvy in school, with the teacher just telling you, you would have to show me.
Mm-hmm.
But because I saw, you a kid, you're embarrassed by certain stuff. I didn't want people to know that I didn't know how to do what they were doing. So I would watch them.
I get it. You learn how
You
to
get
pick
what I'm
up.
saying? I learned how to pick
Pay
up because
attention
I'm
to
watching.
details. Yeah.
Yes.
That's where you pick.
So
Mm-hmm.
so it became a gift for me. So
Yeah.
who can complain when you have something that a lot of people lack?
Let me
So to
ask
say.
you this. How old were you when you were able to finally say something?
Um, I spoke back to my abuser when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And that was the last time that it happened.
Okay. Were
Mhm.
were they trying to attempt to do it again, and you spoke up for yourself, or
So pretty much we were in the house, and um I knew, like, when it's gonna happen, because when everybody leave or you there with them, whatever, whatever. So I tried to jump the gun. I was like, "You want to do it?" And the look on his face was like, "What?" Like, it shocked him. Like,
Mhm,
oh, now she's saying these type of things.
mhm,
And so it was like, no, or whatever. And I still remember that look, like
mhm,
the shock,
mhm.
because now you're aware that I'm thinking like that now. And
Yeah,
so now you're thinking like, okay, well, who else she gonna say this in front of, or what she's gonna do, because she never done this before.
took the power away.
I was just gonna say, and that was the day that I learned my voice. I learned, like, oh, okay, speak up for yourself. Speak
Yeah,
up. And if you speak up for yourself, you can keep your power. You can stop these things from happening. And it opened up a door. I had to learn God is still taming me now
yeah,
for speaking up, and
yeah,
speaking up, and talking for myself. Cause now, after that, I had no fear.
yeah.
Like, I had no fear, and that was in the household. That was against my mom. That was against anybody. Whatever I felt out after that, especially when I got about 13. When I got about 13, it was real. Like, I didn't have a care in the world for how other people felt. It
Yeah.
was, I'm gonna defend myself, and I'm gonna defend the people that's weaker.
You know what I found just from myself and then from people that I have spoken to, when you are either in a, you know, situation where you're a child who's been molested, or even adulthood where you've been in some type of abusive or traumatizing situation, when you finally find your voice, you become a very outspoken person.
Mhm.
Most of the people that are the most outspoken have survived some type of trauma or
Trauma, some
abuse
kind
in
of
their
very
life.
traumatic.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And it forces you to be able to find your voice. And once you find it, you make this pledge to yourself
Mm-hmm.
that you will never let
I'm
anybody shut you up.
nobody,
Yeah, because you know
nobody,
what it feels like. Yeah,
or put you in a space of fear again, like that. Like, yes, because I mean, Stephanie, that's exactly what happened. So after that, it was just like, I'm never letting nobody put me in a box or making me feel uncomfortable or anything like that. And then, like I say, I was the advocate for other
mm,
people who I might didn't know what was going on, but when something like that happened to you, you can feel it. When you get in different atmosphere, you know when something not right.
yeah,
So you know when something off. So
yeah,
I would be the advocate for people who didn't have the voice. They didn't know how to say. So I
yeah,
came off to the adults as a troubled teen. Oh, she's smart mouthed. She's sassy. She disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. I'm truthful. I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
You don't like it because I'm calling you on what you supposed to be doing. That
Yeah.
you supposed to be the oldest and you supposed to be doing what's right.
Yeah. But you know what
You
I
know.
found out? What I found out, Winnie, is a lot of times, you said something that was key. I almost forgot, but that brought it back to me. When you said you were very angry at your parent because you felt like they should know.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of the situation is, now I will say this, there are some that may not know, but
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, I think there's more that know than not.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality of the situation is, if we were to pull back the layers, the reason why a lot of them ignore it is because it was ignored when it happened to them.
So,
Yeah,
um,
it's a generational thing.
it's a generational thing. So
Generational. Yeah.
with my mother, what I came to understand is, like I said, she left my father when I was one, right?
Okay.
She had been abused for years. So her getting out of that relationship and at what 33, 34, learning herself all over again from being with somebody since she was 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
Yes, that right there gave me, once I understood it as an adult and having children
Yeah.
myself, that's what gives me grace for her.
Hold
And
on. Hold on. Hold on.
go
Okay.
ahead.
So your mom was with your dad when she was 13.
Hmm.
How old was your dad?
He was 15.
So they were both young,
They were
but
both
they had
young
been together for a really long time, and then she
for
started
over.
having kids.
Hmm.
So when we unravel this, and what you're about to say is something that happened for me. We're able to give them grace because the Lord allowed us to let us see them for who He
Yes.
sees them as.
Thank you.
So
Not just
what
your
you did
parent, but as a person.
as a person, and so what you were able to see was your mom was a young abused woman who had no choice in the matter, and she did the best job she could with the
Thank you.
knowledge that
Knowledge
she
that she
had
had.
at
Yes.
that time.
At that time. And then let me put this nugget in. My mom passed away when my mom was 10. So she
See,
didn't even have great guidance. And she
yeah,
had,
yeah,
she had to become, my mom had 13, 14 kids. And so by the
oh, wow.
time when her mom passed away, my mom had to help raise the siblings up under her.
And she was
So
only 10.
she was only a kid herself, so
Yeah,
it's generational things that have
good
happened
point.
of the awareness,
Yeah.
and just being transparent. In our culture, we don't talk about a lot of stuff.
No,
We
and we
we don't.
should, and
We
we should.
should.
Yes,
We should talk about it. I advocate for therapy. I advocate for a lot of things for our mental health because
yeah,
we have had so much trauma
yes.
more
Now,
than any other race.
let me
So
tell you something.
yes.
You and I didn't realize how much parallel we have in our stories. I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but
Hmm.
hearing
But
some
not
of
as
it again,
depth.
yes. So I can definitely identify with what you're talking about because you do develop this anger and this resentment,
Hmm. Hmm.
until you know the rest of the story.
Right.
But you
Until you have an understanding.
yeah, you think about for how long the enemy has played you guys against each other,
Hmm.
or you missed out on those years of a relationship that you could have
Hmm.
had you had an understanding.
Right.
But once the Lord gives us that grace to be able to say, wait a minute, you know you may not have knew how to give me what I needed, but you did the best job that you can, and now I know why.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you can't pay me not to have her around. My mama go wherever I go. She live in the house with us and everything. We have become have the best of relationship. And it never was where I hated my mom.
Yeah.
I just was so mad about life in general
Yeah.
and not understanding her thought process. um so like for me, it's like, why would you leave me in a house like this all the time? But when God allowed me to go through a similar relationship, and once I went through that, I was like, girl, I can see why you ain't know. You was just trying to figure it out and get your life together and take a breath and you got kids, you doing all this by yourself,
Yeah.
you trying to learn yourself, you trying to, you
Yeah.
know, become your own self.
Yeah.
And here I am, this little girl that you have. Yeah, you want to pour this stuff into me, but you can't even pour into your own cup.
She needed somebody to
She
come
needed something.
and
Thank
help
you.
her. Yeah,
She needed help
she
herself.
needed a Winnie in her life. So let me read this comment. Di Jones said, "Yes, I wasn't invited to parties for children, etc., because they said I was too grown because of speaking up." So
Mhm.
again, when we find our voice, there's a penalty for finding your voice. And this is
Especially at an
something that
early age.
this is this is something for children who speak up, but this is also something for adults that speak up. When you have been an adult that has lived in trauma and allowed people to manipulate or to
Mhm.
use you and weaponize your
Mhm.
kindness, and you
Yes.
begin to stand up for yourself and you learn how to say no without an explanation, then all of
Yes.
a sudden you become the
You
bad guy.
become the problem. You become the
You
problem.
you
And me, I
become
smile. I smile. I be like, well, I will be the problem. It's okay. But you're
yeah,
well aware.
yeah,
You are well aware.
yeah,
Because and I this is so funny. We talking about this because I was just talking to one of my friends earlier today. Cause she's always like, she be like, sis, you so direct. I said, you want to know why I'm direct like that? Because I think, and I put myself in other people's shoes.
yeah.
People know what they're doing to you, whether
Yes,
they
they
know
do.
whether
They
they
do.
know the in depth of what
Yeah,
they're doing.
yeah.
They know what they're doing to you, and
Listen,
they have a lack of uncaring about what they're doing to you when they know it could hurt you. So therefore, why would I care about me being blunt with the truth back to you?
well,
That's not that's
this
not
is
my problem.
this is how I have began to look at it, Winnie, because I used to let people, as they say, the new phrase, and you said it earlier, I used to let people play in my face.
I used to.
Well, I do not let people play in my face now. And so because of that, now, I'm this, I'm that. But this is the thing, like what you just said. You're not going to talk to me like I'm stupid. So
Correct.
if we're going to discuss something and I know you have ill intent, or you going to tell me something sideways aside from the way it should be, or something to that
Mhm.
effect, I'm going to go ahead and let you know I know.
Thank
Right?
you. So we won't have to be going around in circles and playing this game with each other.
There we go. Because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be short lived. So it's no use in me holding back, because we're going to get to this same punchline, whether we do it
Yeah,
now or later.
or later.
So let's go ahead and get there.
Stephanie, me and you are here. The ex die laughing because she know. Di be like, oh, she be like, she'll see my face and I say, Diana, no, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
Or no, that's not gonna happen. She be like, okay, sis. And Diana's very sweet. She's very kind.
yeah,
And
yeah,
she be laughing. She was like, your face will tell you real quick, like, we not about to play them games. No, ma'am, because people will play on your kindness. And the
well,
one thing when God was on the cross and when Jesus was on the cross and he told God, forgive them, for they
I,
know not what for
yeah,
they know not what they do,
yeah,
right?
hmm,
I do truly understand that, because people don't understand that when you are a kind person, you are a sweet person, you have the heart of God,
Yeah.
and God is directing you, because we could be hellish after all the stuff that we have been through. We could
Yeah.
be hellish
Yeah.
and treat people how they treated us or whatever the case may be, but we make a choice every day to get up and be better, do better, try better. That's not an easy thing. People think that, oh, you got your life is easy, or no, that's challenging, because I could be ignorant just like you, which
Yeah.
is easy.
Yeah. It's easy
But
to
me, but
easy to
me,
be in the flesh. Yeah.
yes, but me considering
Yeah.
considering you, considering your mind, considering your heart, considering you over even my own self. Once again, like I said, I was like that as a kid that
Yeah.
didn't even know. So now when I'm older, I'm not gonna do something, because whatever you sow, you gonna reap. And
Yeah.
that's the part that most people don't think about. They don't think about the consequences. I had my daughter grandmother, and this sticks with me all the time. She said it's not the seen consequences that you really have to worry about, it's the unforeseen consequences is
Mm,
that you have to worry about.
mm.
One thing I can tell you this. I never, like, even when I told my mom what happened, I said I won't ever tell you who it was like that, because they life paid for it.
So you never told who?
I never told her who. I just told her what happened. And
Wow.
she took a guess, and she came and she asked me one of the people, and I told the truth. I said, I won't lie, but I won't ever try to shame them in such a way either, because they life paid for that.
Wow.
Every last person who has done something to me, they life shows
Yeah.
what was in them. I
Yeah.
have a good life. What God gave me is
Mhm.
more than what I ever asked for, what I ever considered. I never thought I would be this person, this Winnie.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought that, but
Yeah.
God knew this.
Yeah.
And so for me to even try to shame you for something, you pay for that.
Yeah.
You pay for that. The drug problem, the you don't have nothing to show for life problems, all of that. You pay for it.
Yeah, the Bible says, "Vengeance is mine," said the Lord. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm a witness. The Lord can pay people back a whole lot better than we can.
Woo, Lord, once I learned once I learned that, that really tamed me. So it took me a while, because for a long time I was a fighter. After that, I started fighting. We gonna whoop tail around here. We gonna put fist to face. But my mom used to always say, Renee, pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles, or whatever. And at first, I didn't understand it. But like I said, once you have kids and you start really understanding, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, somebody tried to call in. But
Yeah.
this is what. Hold on. Can you see me? My
Yes. There you
yeah.
go.
Okay, there we go. But anyway, this is what she meant by that. It tame me. And so now I truly do. I will stand up for myself, but I'm not going to allow, as I tell people all the time, I'm not gonna allow you to take me to jail or hell.
There you.
So
Ooh, what way to stop?
yeah, yeah. That's my go-to.
I'm
That's
not
my
gonna
go-to.
allow you
I'm
to
not gonna
take me to jail or
or
to
hell.
hell. I
Neither
love.
one.
Wow.
Neither one.
I am with you on it. You
Neither
know,
one. I'm too
listen,
cute for
listen,
jail, and I'm
I've
too
learned,
I'm too dark already for hell. I don't want to do
listen,
neither one.
I have learned to put the word of God on people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have been through some things, and people, their mouths, their opinions, their usury, people that like to use people and things of that sort. There have been some situations where somebody said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to pray." Because the
Mm-hmm.
Bible said, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." He didn't say that
None.
there wouldn't be weapons formed,
He
but
said
he
they
said
won't
they would
prosper.
not prosper. And guess what? it'd be weeks, sometimes days, sometimes months before I get a report about them people. And
Do
I'm
you hear
not
me? But don't it be
I would
funny?
be like,
Cause he'll
okay,
tell you.
yeah,
I tell people all the time. I'm like,
yeah.
I tell people, I'm like, get a real relationship with God.
There you go.
Don't we ain't talking about no religion. We ain't
No,
talking about none of that. We're
relationship.
talking about a real personal relationship with God.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you will figure out who the real is for real.
Now
Because God
listen,
don't play them type of games that people be thinking that he be playing. Like,
listen, I say
no.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, relationship over religion. Uh,
Every day, all
see,
day.
religion is you go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays, but you don't know Christ. There
You
is a
don't know him.
difference.
It is. It's a very much
Relationship is
difference.
you talk to him 24/7. It doesn't matter where you are. You're
Mm-hmm.
talking to him and consulting him about the things that you should do, your decisions. And it's not when you go to church, that's the only time you talk to the Lord. That is not
Nope.
a relationship, that is a ritual.
Yes.
And ever since I got a revelation, because at one point, Winnie, I was bound in religion. I
Mm-hmm.
was bound at one point.
I think a lot of us was. It took me to have a I but the thing about God, I have always like, to me it's like, because things have happened, he's always kind of had a special covering, or
Yeah,
a special kind of covering, a special kind of relationship, because
relationship.
I've always
Woo, we
thought
said it
different
at the
than
same
a lot
time.
of people. Yes. I
Yes,
have always thought different from people, and my heart has always been a little different.
yeah,
Even in my wrath, it wasn't nowhere near
yeah.
what it could have been in
Yeah.
the thoughts that would come up,
I get it. I get it.
because he still would tame it, like, no, wait a minute, baby, don't you do that.
Don't go
don't
too far.
don't go too far.
Yeah.
And so, but I tell people all the time, get a real relationship with God, because if you really understood the how petty he can be,
Yeah.
how comical he can be, how he mean exactly what he say when he say, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
You reap good, you're gonna get good back.
Yeah.
The due season.
Yeah.
It's
We
in
have
the
to
due
trust him.
season.
Yeah.
You do have to trust him. That's my favorite scripture. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. That's the scripture that get me through basically everything. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding,
Mm-hmm.
but in all of your ways. People
All of
don't, I think people
that's
be
right.
forgetting about that. They be forgetting that part. All of your ways, that mean the good and the bad of you.
That's right.
Acknowledge him and he will guide your path.
That's right. Well, mine is Psalms 34:19. A righteous man has many troubles, but the Lord delivers him out of
Them
all his troubles. Yes.
all
That's,
of them.
that is mine. So when I find myself in a situation, I have gotten to the point where I'm like, Lord, what's the lesson I need to learn in this? I'm trying to get to the lesson so I can get to the other side because I know it's
Stephanie,
temporary. I know it's temporary.
yes. That is funny. I literally just told my friend that earlier today. I said, I was telling her some things about my past. I said, so when you see me able to walk through certain things, because she always like, sis, you strong. I'm like, I have been through so much stuff at a younger age. It builds you to
Builds
be
you up.
stronger. It builds you to know how to navigate through things. I said, at first, I was a victim. That's why my statement is that never
Yeah.
a victim,
Yeah.
always an overcomer. Because when you have
Yeah.
that victim mindset, that's what keep you bound and
That's
stuck
right.
in,
Yeah.
oh, the why and the woe is me. I
Yeah.
don't have time for pity parties like that.
Yeah.
So let's get to the other side, which means let me learn what you're trying to teach me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we were all at some point a victim,
Victim.
but
Yeah.
what we
Because
have
you
to
didn't
do,
understand.
because we didn't understand, we had questions,
Mm-hmm.
we were just stuck on stupid, and the
Mm-hmm.
enemy kept
Mm-hmm.
replaying. The enemy keeps you stuck because he wants to keep replaying everything. But
Yes.
now we're on the other side of healing. And
Mm-hmm.
now the only reason we talk about it now is to shed light on it, to
Like,
help other people heal. because
Yes.
we're now talking about how we were able to forgive the abusers, how we were able to forgive the people that we thought knew or could have done something differently. But now we realize through the power of the Holy Spirit, we had to show them grace
Right.
because they did what they could. They did
They
not
did what they
they did
could.
they
Thank you.
didn't have the ability to do anything differently.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a whole nother show. Showing people grace for things that, so many people have held grudges
Mm-hmm.
against other people. And some
And don't
people,
know how it's hurting yourself. See, that's what
there
the
you go.
thing
Yeah,
about it is, that you don't know you poisoning your own self. You holding on to that. You're
yeah,
missing opportunities. You're missing out on living because you're holding on to a thought process that you
there you go.
can't do nothing about. I think one day for me that stands out, that made me know, like, don't ever hold it.
Yeah,
I had a cousin that somebody tried to do something to her, and they didn't even get to do anything to her, because she wound up telling, I'm gonna tell my mom, and she held on. It was her demeanor, and it was the way she was talking about it, like, so and like, yeah, my mom and them, they beat him, and they did. And in my mind, I was like, Lord, I never want that to hold on to me like that. Cause
yeah,
that's some nastiness in your heart, And those were the seeds that devil be trying to plant in people. And so that's once again, one of the things, like I said, I learned from people. Like, I learned, like, oh, this good. Take this, pick this up from you.
yeah,
But oh, this is bad. Like, I don't want to be perceived like this. I don't want this to be in me like that. So if
yeah,
I seen it on somebody else, and I seen how it made them look, and how I looked at you, I was like, oh no, God, I don't want that.
yeah,
Make sure you do something to heal me, because I don't want to be like that.
yeah. That's the thing right there. I'm gonna put the link up to Miss Winnie Stark's book up on the screen. No matter when you look at this interview, you will be able to click on this link. This link will take you to the paperback, the ebook, and the hardcover for her book, Unbroken Destiny. We have been talking about her story, her testimony. We have been talking about how she overcame, how she is an overcomer. She said a little bit earlier that she is now going into schools. She's being able to talk to and educate high schoolers. And she recently had the opportunity to go into her own high school after 21 years to be
Yeah.
able to talk to some teens. She was kind of sharing with us a few minutes ago. So if you are looking for someone to be able to come into your high school, to be able to engage with the teens, author Winnie Starks and speaker Winnie Starks is available. You can contact her on Facebook. What other outlets do you have, Winnie, that they can contact you on?
Or you can do via email as well. And that would be winnie.starks@gmail.com. But I do, Messenger is one of the main things that I do use on Facebook. And that's just my first and last name, Winnie Starks. And that's also with the books. I do like to personally sign them. So if you would like a signed copy, you can reach out to me via Facebook on Messenger and request, and we can, partner and connect, and I can get you a book sent out that's signed as well.
Very good. Again, Unbroken Destiny, 10 practical challenges to help you live a destiny driven life. What is one of the takeaways from your book? If you had like two nuggets to drop tonight for that person that is watching Winnie, that is going through something and maybe they never spoke up, maybe they don't know where to start, what would be two nuggets for you to give them tonight?
Um, Forgive yourself,
Mhm.
because it wasn't your fault. And even if you have never spoken up about it, forgive the other person. Forgive them, because that frees you from the victim mentality. That frees you from unforgiveness, which that's a blessing to yourself. Give
Yeah.
yourself that blessing, and that love and forgive them for their actions. It wasn't on you for that to happen to you.
Yeah.
And then also just know that it's just a moment in time.
Mhm.
That's not your forever. It's just one of the pages in your book of life. God is the author of the both good and bad. He uses both good and bad. We always speak on that scripture. Uh what's the scripture? I just had it in my head. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord,
Called according to his purpose.
called according to his purpose and his riches and his glory, right? So if you think about that scripture, all things, meaning the good and the bad, the ugly of things, all of it works together. For me, that worked, that negative thing that happened, it opened a door in my life for me to help other people.
Mhm.
So it's a lesson and a blessing all in one. And I always tell people, if you learn a lesson, it's always is a blessing. So you always blessed, even in the bad. If you learn a lesson from it, you're blessed. That's a blessing. So it's always a blessing. So be blessed is the one of the last nuggets that I want to give. Be blessed. And it's up to you if you're gonna do that. Make a conscious decision that you no longer want to be a victim. You want to overcome and start doing the work to do so.
That is a very good. Those are some very good nuggets. I'm going to put this scripture up here that you were mentioning too. I want them to make sure to have the scriptural text for what you were saying just a few minutes ago. So it's Romans 8:28, and let me click on that. And that's Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work. All things God works for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purpose. That was
Yes.
8:28. And then again, you can click on the link at any given time. Also, if you want it autographed, which you should want it autographed, make sure that you get Winnie to sign the book personally. Miss Di Jones, thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. We had so many things in common. Miss Di made it a point. She said all three of us have the same connection, but God. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And that's the thing. We all have been through some stuff, but we can't let that stuff define us or our destiny. We have to
Right.
push through it and get to the other side, because the only reason the enemy throws those distractions and those things at you is to stop you from getting to
So
the other
getting to the other side,
side.
yes, of
Yeah,
of your destiny. So
yeah.
that's
Your
why my
call.
book is
Yeah.
called Unbroken Destiny, because no matter what,
Mhm.
your as long as you keep going and you keep trying, your destiny can't be broken. It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up to you on how life is going to go. I
Yeah.
say that to my believers and to the unbelievers.
Mhm.
I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God. It's some people that hear me and that don't, but they are able to. He's so crafty. I love God. It's people that'll talk to me, and I know they atheists. They don't believe in my God. They don't believe in nothing, but they do know what authenticity is. They do know what a true and honest person is.
Right.
So that's another blessing for me, and I thank God for that, because it allowed me all of the negative things that came up, and me using my voice and me not being staying in fear
Mhm.
or caring about what other people thought. Once
Mhm.
I got to a certain stage in my life of caring, like what you thought of me, or what you can't the devil can't hold me bound,
That's right.
because I own it. I walk in it. It's okay. It happened.
Yeah.
It didn't stop me though.
Just delayed.
It just, yes, and
Yeah.
even if it was a delay, it was a intentional delay, because God is the orchestrator of it all.
Yeah.
If it did delay me, I was supposed to be delayed right there.
Yeah. All it
You
did
know,
was add to the testimony.
that's it. That's it. That's all. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all. And
Yeah.
so, that is one of the things to be the most thankful for, and it frees your heart. I live a free life, meaning I'm not the richest person in the world materialistic wise, but I am rich within because I live free of bondage, of strongholds, of those ties that try to hold you down.
Yeah.
And I have the tools to know how to maneuver through, even when stuff come now, it just be like, okay, God, what am I supposed to do? Do I
There
do
you
go
go.
this way? If I do, I
Yeah.
go that way, or
Yeah.
do I sit still and be quiet and you let it pass?
Yeah.
I have tools to know what to do
That's
to
right.
move
Because you know it's
forward.
temporary.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I know it's just a moment because I've had those moments.
You
So
just rehearse the victories you've already been through.
yes,
Yeah, you
yes.
when you've been through some stuff with the Lord, you don't get worked up and weary. You might get tired, but you don't get
Hmm.
worked up and weary. You just get to the point where you're like, okay, we doing this again. Okay, well,
Right.
let me just rehearse the
And
victories.
he tell us that it's always gonna be a trial. It's always gonna be something. So it ain't like until you hit the dust, it's gonna always be something. So just have that prepared in your mind and work through it the best way you know how. But live free, be
Yeah.
happy, love on yourself, and loving yourself will teach other people how to love you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight, Miss Winnie Starks. I've got one more question for you tonight. I'm
Yes.
going to give you 3 words: healing, empowerment, and transformation. Tell me which word stands out the most and why.
Empowerment, because that's me. I love to empower other people. I love to um brighten up somebody's day. So empowerment is always gonna be my go-to. Because I am what I needed when I was younger.
That's good. Wow, that is really good. That is
Hmm.
really good.
And
Wow.
that's the thing. People don't understand that. Become who you needed so you
Yeah.
can help somebody else.
Yeah. I said that earlier, unintentionally, that and I said your mom needed a Winnie Starks, not even know.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Look at
Yes.
that. Hey. Well, thank you so much, Miss Winnie Starks. You have a great rest of the evening. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I enjoyed sitting here talking with you. Make sure that you guys support Winnie Starks. Make sure you reach out to her on Facebook through Messenger and see what all she's got going on. Okay. Thank you
And
guys.
thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Stephanie, for
you.
having me on. I really appreciate it. It was
You're
great.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Y'all tune in next week on Tuesday and Thursday where we'll have some more amazing guests on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. Good night.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.